Welcome back, folks. This is number 29 in my top 50 countdown, Tales of the Arabian Nights. This is an adventure game. Um, this is also the game that I would recommend. I had talked earlier about getting rid of this, replacing the staples that are in everybody's game closet. So the board game Life um, is uh, I would say it could be replaced by this game because you kind of do the same things, trying to achieve your objective and uh, have a successful life. So you are playing either Aladdin or Alibaba or Sinbad or Shahrazad. They plays 2 to 6, or yeah, 2 to 6. Um, Best with 3 or 4. There's too much downtime with more than that. It's a long game. Takes about 2 hours. Complexities probably a 3 out of a 5, and that it might be a 4 complexity wise the first time, but once you get it, once you understand what's happening, it's pretty smooth sailing. Um, so you will have a character um, board, which tells you what's going on. I'm going to reference it, um, and you will have some quest. You'll have a quest card, which it gives you a rough idea of what to do, but really it's about getting. At the start of the game, you will pick. You'll have to assign a value of total of 20 to story and destiny for that you want to achieve before you can return and tell your tale in Baghdad. So you could do 10 of each. You could do 5 story and 15 destiny. Um, what does that mean? To be honest, the game is so random it doesn't really matter, because you could try to set something for 15, and then you're going to wind up with all story uh, points as your adventure goes along. But I don't want that to sound bad, because the game is fun in the stories that come out. So, and I'll get to that in a second. Um, so you would set those points that you're trying to get to. You will get You'll get 3 basic skills, which are these little chits, like piety and scholarship and luck or storytelling or wilderness lore. There's probably 25 different skills and you're going to start with 3 of them. And you'll go on an adventure, and depending on your wealth level, everybody starts at poor. On land you can move 3, and on the sea you can move 2, and it changes depending on how wealthy you are. Like on land, if you're fabulously rich, you can only move 2 because you got your whole caravan coming with you, but you can move 6 on the water because you can afford the best boats. So you would go 1, 2, 3, and maybe you have a quest that says go to a specific city, so that would give you a little bit of direction. Then you would have an encounter. So you draw your encounter card, and I'm in a city space, so I look at the number here, 51 on the city, and this is where the game is. So the other players, one of them has the reaction matrices table, and one of them has the book of tales. This is the game right here. So it said 151, so I would go to 151, and there are 2,000 entries, 2,600 different entries in this. So that's your replayability. So 151. Is that what he said? Nope, just 51. So I go to 51, and 51 is you encounter, and then you would roll a die, or should have this out. And I rolled a 5. 5 plus the number that's on the space is 7. So I have 51, 7, a wicked vizier, chart I. So with a wicked vizier, I encounter a wicked vizier. I look on the chart I. What am I going to do? And then it gives you a list of 8 options of what to try to do to the wicked vizier. I can honor him. I could attack him. I could avoid him. I could aid him. I could rob him. I could follow him. I could question him, or I could pray to him. So I am going to try to avoid him. So I'm going to avoid the wicked vizier. I've heard about him. He's not a nice guy. So chart I, one of the players would look at chart I, look up wicked, look up avoid, and come up with another number. 1019. 1019, and then you roll the plus minus die just to add a little bit more randomness. Not that there isn't enough already. And I got the minus, so it's 118. So then I go to 118. Or sorry, 1018. And there's a story. Remember those choose your own adventure books when I was a kid? This is kind of what it is. So it says, the vizier of this land has usurped power while the sultan is away and has leveled a terrible tax on the people. And then the person reading it would say, do you have the bargaining and evaluation skill? And if I did, I don't, but if I did, he'd read that paragraph. I don't, then he'd read this one. You hide from the tax collector, but a scheming citizen turns you in. You are jailed in addition to the tax. Wealth -3, so I'd go from having poor to minimum beggar. So I would lose penniless, I'd become a beggar, and I would get the imprisoned status. So these status cards are, you can get and gain and lose throughout the game. Some are good, some are bad. Lost, pursued, robe of honor, vizier, you can become a vizier yourself. So that would end my turn, and I would get the imprisoned status card, which I think I have to try to escape the next turn. And that's the game. You have an adventure, and you gain skills along the way. You get lucky, you get unlucky. My son had a game where he was cursed and crippled and diseased, and at that point he was just laughing, saying, "What else could go wrong?" So even with the bad luck, there's a funny story that happens as you play this game. We played this at the 24-hour marathon, and we played it at like 4 in the morning when we were all really tired, having been up for playing games for 18 hours straight, and it went over well. I think the crew that played with me liked it. It says you can play to 6. I wouldn't. I'd stay with 4 or less, just to keep the books passing around and everybody engaged. And yeah, that's number 29, Tales of the Arabian Nights. Stay tuned for 28 for the kids.